fellow humans, and welcome to Computer Science for Humans, a channel all about learning to program better together. Today we are learning a new programming language because I think it's really fun and you guys seem to enjoy it too, so let's do some more of it. Today we are learning, what's it called? Zig. We're learning Zig because apparently it's all the rage nowadays. It seems very popular, and when I tried Rust a couple weeks ago, I got some comments saying I should try Zig too. So I figured, why not try Zig too? At the end, I'll also be giving Zig a learnability rating for newer programmers so that you can decide whether or not to pick up Zig as your next language or your first language. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can learn Zig in one day and get a feel for it. And I'm gonna learn from the mistakes I made in the Rust video, and I'm going to lower the scope significantly of what I'm trying to accomplish. So instead of trying to make a text-based exploration game like last time, which happened, so it doesn't want to own it, I guess, or it wants me to already not own it. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not a fan of having to frequently convert between the different types of string. Yeah, okay, I really not liking the difference between the two kinds of string and having to switch back and forth all the time. It's like half the things require a string they need permission to, half require it to not need permission, and it's just like, when I loop through it, part of the looping process takes ownership of interactables, which moves interactables from self over to the loop. Are you serious right now? Oh, I'm really enjoying it. Even if there are multiple kinds of strings, that's still annoying. Not a fan of that one. I am going to start out making something I'm much more familiar with. I'm just gonna make a linked list and then I'll go from there. If that's really quick and easy, I'll add to it and make it bigger and maybe do some other data structures or something. If it seems reasonable, I might make the game of life, Conway's game of life. We'll see what happens. I don't really know what to expect. I have absolutely no knowledge about Zig except for its name and that it seems to be popular. And one guy told me it's similar to Rust. And if you happen to be the guy that commented that, this one's for you, bro. I'm just assuming you're male because statistically speaking, 100% of my viewers are male, according to analytics, so I figure it's a solid guess. So yeah, I'm going into this blind, and I'm actually really excited because I have absolutely no idea what to expect. Before we get started, don't forget to press the YouTube buttons down below if you want to see more stuff like this. Liking, subscribing, and all that really helps the channel. Also, leave a comment. I actually read pretty much every comment, all the ones I can get to. I love hearing what you guys think, but yeah, let's learn Zig. Like I said, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. So this should be interesting. Ziglang. Okay, so with any language, the first step is to download it. A compiler or script reader, I forget what they're called. Interpreter, that's the word. Like I said, I'm going into this totally blind. This is my first time ever seeing Z code. Interesting. That is definitely going to be interesting to learn. I'm gonna worry about actually learning it later. We're just gonna worry about installing it. I saw something mention C over here. I haven't read that yet, but just looking at this makes me think of C. Not like directly necessarily, but it feels like there's some similarity. So I wonder if this is yet another not quite C, or like C but actually usable kind of language. A general purpose programming language and tool chain for maintaining robust, optimal, and reusable software. This is funny to me because can you guys tell me in the comments if there is a language that doesn't make reusable software? Because I thought that was the whole point of software. Am I missing something that's like super obvious? Let me know in the comments. No hidden control flow. Hidden. Hold up. Also, let me know if you know what it means by hidden control flow. Is it talking about how try-catch blocks are weird? But they have a try. See it right there. So I'm curious, what do you guys know about hidden control flow? What are they referring to? It might be something super obvious that I'm just not thinking of, or I don't have it labeled like that in my mind. Or it might be a new concept I'm not familiar with. Like, is there this secret control flow that's been happening under my nose this whole time? I'm very curious. No hidden memory allocations. That's super useful if you want optimized code, which they obviously do. No preprocessor, no macros. I like that. Macros, I'm not a fan of. I find them very confusing. Fresh approach to metaprogramming based on compile time code execution. Is that different from just like compiling it and executing it? This is, so right off the bat, one thing I gotta say. So I'm a normie. Like I'm not the Primogen. I'm not you suck at programming. They are both really, really smart by my estimation. They are what I would call a power developer, or like, I need to come up with a good term for it. But they're the kind of developers who, and I've got other friends like this too, who it's like their brain is pretty much a computer and they think like that, and they're able to just inundate themselves in a programming topic and absorb it into their identity. And then it's like they just are that. They use code the way a sword master uses a sword, where it's like a part of their body and they just extend it out. I'm a very experienced plebeian. It's basically what I am with code. I want my code that I write to be easy to write. I want it to be easy to read, easy to use. I'm not here for the really crunchy, like save 8 bits here, save 8 bits there kind of stuff. That's not my thing. All that to say, all this, like, this is cool. I can tell from reading this, I'm not the target audience on this. And I can tell because they use tons of terms that I'm like, I know those words, but I can tell it means something different than what I'm thinking it means. For example, metaprogramming is something I pretty much never think about directly. Fresh approach to metaprogramming. I don't even know what they're talking about with metaprogramming. I know what it means, like I know what meta means and I know what programming means, so put them together, I know what that would mean, right? Like metagaming in video games. I don't know much about metaprogramming off the top of my head. Call any function at compile time. I don't understand exactly what's different about that. I would need a little more detail to get a more deep understanding. I don't intrinsically understand a lot of this stuff. Manipulate types as values. I think I know what they're getting at, but I feel like there's depth I'm missing. Emulates the target architecture. That is something that I have never once thought about in my entire programming career. It's just not the kind of problems I usually solve. Sounds like it's very useful though. That's cool that you can use C or C++ with it, or use Zig with C or C++. I'm assuming then that it was built on top of C. Let me know if you know in the comments. As a side note, you guys have been some of the like coolest comments that I see. Like, I've learned so much from you guys. So please don't hesitate to leave me a book in the comments. I actually do read them. And even if I don't have time for a detailed response, I have learned so much about these languages from you guys, and it's wonderful. Leverage. Leverage is a very corporate word, and it makes me, it's fun seeing that. That's nice. I've dealt with inconsistent development environments before, and that is a massive pain. Also, I just noticed Zig test index.zig. Is testing built into Zig? Because if so, that's awesome. That is awesome if it just comes out of the box. Is that ally or ally or allocator? I don't know what this is. This is another example of shortening words where I'm like, now it just doesn't make sense unless you already know the trick. Got an array list, okay, of U32. Is that their version of strings and characters as U32? No, wait, no, U is probably unsigned. My first thought was Unicode, but it's probably unsigned number. Defer is something I first saw when I learned Golang. I still don't know how I feel about it. I haven't used it a ton, so that's probably why. It's nice to not have to wait until later. In order to write it, you can make sure that you actually free up memory, which is very important for preventing memory leaks and stuff. The thing that I don't super like about it is that if you're coming back later and reading the code, you can't just go to the end of a function to find all the things it's deallocating later. You actually have to look through the function and just find each one individually. So they're not all in one place. Still, it's nice to be able to just write it here so you don't forget. Personally, what I usually end up doing if I'm writing the code from scratch and not editing existing code is I just go ahead and write it at the beginning, whatever the deallocation code is, and then I just have that at the end and I put all the other code in the middle. But it is easy to make mistakes where you don't remember to do that. So I definitely see the benefits. I'm just still not 100% sold on it, if that makes sense. Okay, what is it? These variable names are killing me, man. And I know that you can name a variable whatever you want. So when I write code in this, it doesn't have to follow this convention, but oh, it is iterator maybe? Yeah, we really need to have, we really need to start having at least 4 letters per variable name, unless it's a complete word that is clear in what it does. This is so annoying. Again, not an issue with Zig, just whoever wrote this code. I will say, their standard library looks like it has some cool stuff. I don't know if this is mem-like memory. Why memory would have tokenizing, I'm not sure. I'm sure it makes sense when you know, but I don't know offhand. Okay, so this is, I'm assuming this is basically a regular expression. It's either a regular expression of the characters, or it's just a list of characters that you split on. They call it tokenize instead, which makes a lot of sense, because splitting is tokenizing. While iterator.next, yeah, okay, so that is the iterator. Absolute value of number, that's how I read this. I haven't seen this notation other than in math since I learned Ruby, which was a long time ago. At least n is normal for number. You know what I mean? Like, that one's common enough to where I'm like, I'll give that a little pass. Although, if you ever have to Control F to find the letter N, it's a nightmare. Okay, so I'm seeing immediately, I've been in here for like 10 minutes. I'm seeing that try works differently in this than it does in other languages I know. If nothing else, it's just one line. I don't know what happens if it does not succeed, so I'll have to look into that. I'm pretty sure Ruby does that too, where when you iterate, the current value of the iterator is in this like absolute value notation. I think it looks cool. I don't know if I like it for this, but it's aesthetically pleasing. And then try list.append. Why would append fail? I might learn that later. I just, off the top of my head, yeah, if you run out of memory, maybe the array list has a fixed size. I like that they gave an example of a while loop and a for loop here. This is intriguing. This is very intriguing. Okay, I'm ready to actually get started now. So I'm gonna open up more code samples so I can see it in full overview. But first, let's get started installing Zig. Direct download. That honestly, like, it's kind of nice that you can just put it wherever you want and then put that in the path. I know you can do that with other stuff too, but I like that they explicitly talk about it here. Like if you want to try to install Java at some random path, not at their default location, it's going to be a little confusing. That said, oh, they have, no way. Hold on. They have the PowerShell commands to change it. That's nice, because going manually through all the menus to change the thing, it can be a little annoying. I guess I will install it. I always get excited when I'm learning a new language. I feel like I'm exploring new horizons, but without the mosquitoes and jungle. Still installing now. You know, it's kind of funny. Zig has already taken longer to install than Rust and Visual Studio Code put together. Because I accidentally installed both last time. I don't know what the machine thing is here. Wow, that was nice. So in theory, it should work now, right? After you're done, restart your PowerShell. Does Zig have like a cargo that I can use to set up a project? It doesn't look like it. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this hello world and we're just gonna see if we can run it. Is VS Code not going to suggest the Zig extension? Sure, I'll just click yes to all the things. Ah, it's installed. Okay, let's just see if we can run this. Oh, I did the wrong file name. So right off the bat, running this, it's obviously a compiled language. Makes sense because memory matters. I'm not a huge fan of having to type build exe. Let me know in the comments if I just missed a memo like I did with Cargo on Rust, and if it's just like there is actually a package manager kind of thing, or whatever you would call it. Oh, whoops, I put this in the wrong folder. That'll do it. There we go. Oh, I just compiled it, so it's not gonna run. Do I just run it like normal? Yeah. Okay, that was super easy. Now, I also didn't write it, I just copied and pasted it. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so we've got standard. Okay, this is nice. I think I'm getting with the Zig extension what I was supposed to be getting with the Rust extension, but I messed up the installation and didn't have it. So pub, you guys, stop shortening things. I can kind of understand it maybe for languages like this and Rust. Maybe saving a few bytes by typing less characters is worth it. I don't know. Pub instead of public, 3 letters. It's not that hard to type. Function is not that hard to type either. Again, at least you used a mathematical notation. I like this better than func or fun. So that one's not as bad. I like this. I like this notation, the not void thing. I'm assuming that's not void specifically. I'll have to see if there's an auto return thing though, because I don't see anything returning. I like that it uses curly braces. I like curly braces. Okay, I got to figure out what this try thing is about. They try everything, and it's a printf. That's cool. I remember it this time. I need to figure out what this dot is. I'm not sure what that's there for. It's a little weird to me that you have to instantiate the thing that writes to the screen. The only thing I can think of is maybe they did that so that you don't have to include it at all. So, you know, you can be more memory efficient, not have that extra little bit of memory taken up, or maybe a lot of it. I don't actually know how much memory it takes to have something that can write to the screen. It's a little obnoxious having to do this line if you want to be able to print, but it's not that big of a deal. And I need to look up try now. Try is a shortcut for catch? Wait, does this catch and throw errors like in Java? I thought everyone hated that. Okay, I want a concise summary. Oh, it's very different. Okay, this is actually really interesting. Structs, apparently structs are constants, which is interesting. I'm trying to think if that was how Rust did it or not. I can't remember. But it's a constant that is a struct instead of being a struct here. I'm assuming, I don't know if it's required to be constant or not, but I'm just gonna make mine constant. I value my sanity a little bit. Only a little bit, I guess. I like this notation for initializing or instantiating a struct. That's really nice. It's nice to be able to just throw curly brackets on and not have to call extra functions and stuff. I need to figure out what this dot is. It's clearly doing something important and it keeps showing up. So that would be my next question. And we add functions. There's no impl block or implements block. We just put the function directly into the struct, which is nice. Honestly, to me, especially with this notation, that kind of just makes structs a class. Argue with me in the comments if you want. I'd love to hear your opinions on this, but this, like, what is the difference between this and a class? You know what I mean? Very interested to hear y'all's takes on that. Oh, I see pointers. Wait, is that not a pointer? The pub makes it public, makes sense. Mutable method. Oh, okay, not the method itself that's mutable. So without the star, this can only read the values of x and y. With the star, it can change the values of x and y. Interesting. That seems like it would be easy to lose track of until you're really used to it. Explicitly specify values for fields in a struct when you're creating an instance. Is that literally all that is? Because it felt like it was doing more. So is this dot y saying like the like point dot y? Is there just an implicit point here? If so, that's kind of cool to be honest, but it's also kind of weird. I have mixed feelings. Also, what about this? Is this standard debug print dot point or dot curly bracket? Okay, so apparently this is the whole argument in the Zig community. I'm sorry, this is such a programmer thing to argue about, whether or not to have a dot before the curly brace. I think I'm probably on the side of I don't like it. I think it's a little bizarre, makes the language more esoteric. But if it's notifying something, it's notifying you of something. Of course, this was 2 years ago, so who knows if it's still an issue. Variadic. Now that is a word. I think this is my favorite thing. For me personally, the reason I'm diving into this is it helps me to know why something is there and understand that in order to be able to remember it exists. As it is, the pattern is very not obvious on when to have dots by things and when not to. Other than, I guess, dots go before parameters, but maybe they also go before tuples, I think. So parameter, this one I'm like, okay, it's dot x because it's point.x and just point is implicit. That one I'm fine with. This one is weird, but for now I'm just going to assume, maybe correctly, maybe incorrectly, I don't know, that the dot means the following curly braces are a tuple. Let's start building a linked list. I suspect this is gonna get hard fast because pointers are explicit in this and linked lists with pointers are always gonna be a little more interesting. But that's why we're doing it. As a side note, I noticed they do have the trailing comma here, which again, I think I mentioned this in Rust as well. I cannot tell you how many times my students have gotten confused because they had a list with commas at the end of each line and they accidentally had a comma on the last line so it didn't compile. Having a comma on every line I think is easier for people learning the language. And the easier the language is to learn, the easier it is to get it popular. Butter cookies are yummy. As a side note, there are kind of two different ways to do a linked list. There might be more than that, but there are two main ones. There's the one that's recursive, where it's just you have a node and that is the head of the list. And then there's another version, which is like kind of have a list manager almost that keeps track of the length, keeps track of the head, the tail if you have a tail. I think I'm just going to do the recursive one. Should be a pointer to a standard IO writer. What is it, Matt? Oh, it's unused. It's nice that it tells you when it's unused. No, is there no println? What? Come on. Are you serious? You have to manually add the new line? Oh, it's still built. Maybe that's just because it's not paying much attention to the unused code. Okay, I think this should compile. Oh, nope. Is null not a thing? I gotta say, after after using Rust's compiler, this hurts my soul. This is one of the worst compiler messages I've ever seen in my life. Oh, never mind. I was reading this. So this is a normal compiler message. It's really hard to compete with the Rust compiler, man. So it expected a pointer to a node, but it was null. I'm sure there's a way to do this. I spilled tea on myself. Okay, so I just need to put a question mark before it. That is actually kind of nice. I don't know why more languages don't use a question mark for when you don't know. We will see if this makes it compile. It does not. Oh, expected type found function. Right after Rust, this hurts. This hurts a lot. Everyone should copy the Rust compiler. The way they do error messages and stuff, every single language on the planet should do that. Is that not a type? Okay. Oh, I'm silly. It's a pointer. It's been a while since I've used C or C-esque languages. Rust is the closest, and all their borrowing, owning stuff, just the way the terminology is, completely mentally separates it from regular pointers and stuff in my mind. So we've got the writer here is expecting a pointer and I gave it the actual thing. So I need to give it the address so it knows so it has the pointer to it. Forgive me if I didn't word that exactly correctly. Okay, that may not be it. And I know all the Zig aficionados are like, well, it's obviously this. Why won't you just see it? Why is writer a function? It looks like a type to me. How long have I been recording? An hour and a half. It feels like 4. You can't use writer as a function argument because it's not a type. It's a function that returns a type. And you know what? With what I saw, that's because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, in order to make their standard out print work for pretty much any data type without using metaprogramming, they basically had to have what seems to me like a very complex set of functions that at compile time check the types of what's being printed and then use the print function that is appropriate to the type of thing that's being printed. Something along those lines. And because of that, io.writer gets the type of function that needs to be used in order to cause the printing to happen. Which, being honest, feels a lot like metaprogramming to me. It's just not metaprogramming because it's in the code. It's not outside the code. It smells like a workaround to me, which sometimes you gotta do. Like, sometimes there's no way around it. But it does mean I can't pass the print thing. I'm tempted to just make my own print in each one. This is a good answer as far as I can tell. Way more complicated than I want. So I'm going to do something less memory efficient. I'm not going to pass this in. Also, I just realized I'm also not catching the error try. I don't know how much I care. I'm just going to have a bunch of standard outs and just get over it. That's just easier for me. I don't want to have to deal with this. Watch it still not work. Yeah, I probably edited something else wrong. Why are you giving me a note that there's a parameter type that's declared? Do you not like it? Do you want me to remove it? I can get rid of it. Would you like that? Types must be comp time known. Is it pointer self dot data? No. Is this where it expected a pointer? No. Is this the one that's supposed to be a pointer? Maybe I'll do var. Let me get rid of the const. I'm just gonna make it variable because otherwise it's obnoxious. Is this one supposed to be the pointer? One of these is supposed to be a pointer. I had the same problem in Golang. It does not support struct initialization syntax. What? Why not? Wait, expected type. Why is type a type? Oh, goodness. I think I understand why. Is type kind of like an enum of the different types that are available? Is that what's going on here? This is rough, you guys. This is rough. I am regretting my life choices right now. Oh, I just realized. Wait a second. No, never mind. Thought it was telling me to try this. It was not. So it doesn't know what self.data is. Is it pointer self.data? That's what I just had, isn't it? Expected type found I32. Where is it expecting the type? Can I just print the number 3? No? Okay. Unused function parameter. Why is that an error? Okay, this is actually something I really don't like, is when an unused parameter is an error and not a warning. Because right now, I don't need perfect memory code. Like, put it in an option in the compiler where when I can run the compiler with a flag that says something like strict. Right now, I don't care. This does not impact my program at all. Don't force me to get rid of that just because I wanted to see if 3 would print. So irritating. It's one of my pet peeves. What? No field or member function named display. Oh, because it doesn't have the self. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Can I do an underscore? And then you'd not get mad at me and let me compile this stinking program? How to print types must be comp time known. Wouldn't it be funny if I'm using, like, if these are special characters and I don't realize it? I don't think that's the issue though, but found error, no space left, disk quota, file too big, input output, device busy, invalid argument, access denied, permission denied, broken pipe says. Is this all of the errors that it found? Oh, it's not void. Oh, goodness. Okay, how do I... Oh, yeah. Remember how I said not void earlier? That's not what that means, because, you know, why use the standard meaning of exclamation point? That would be silly. Consider using try, catch, or if. Oh, right. This is like, okay, I finally compiled it. And it's just gonna print 3. It's not actually printing the thing I want. Oh goodness. Okay, at least the 3 shows up. Let's see if we can just replace this with self.data, which I have to change the underscore to self. And then I guess it probably doesn't have to be called self, but that's showing up now, so that's a good sign. Okay, so it works now. I am gonna see what I was doing that made it not work. Is literally the only change, was it yelling at me on like this line because I didn't have the exclamation point next to void to let it know it returns an error? That's obnoxious. I'm sure there's another 1 or 2 changes that I'm forgetting at this point. That was really annoying. Okay, but we got it at least. Okay, heaven help us. Now for the actual part where we make a linked list. What am I doing? It's never mutated. Yeah, I know. Okay. Jeez. I get it. Fine, I'll make it a constant. I'll use your good practices while I'm practicing. If you don't call the function, it'll never run. Before I start actually thinking, I'm going to try the things that I already had in my mind as possible things I had already done wrong. Can I do this? Can I do this? Oh, goodness gracious. I think I need to put a question mark somewhere. The question is where, because I don't think it's here. That would be weird. I have to try though. Okay, good. That does not make sense. I went var, and it's going to be mad at me, but maybe it'll let me compile. Found const. That's not a const. Unable to resolve comp time value. See, I wish I knew what that meant. I don't. I really don't know why they're so obsessed with comp time. Is comp time, tell me in the comments, is comp time different from compile time? Is there a meaningful difference, or is it just marketing and they just decided they liked the phrase? Also, if you love this language, you're awesome. I'm not enjoying it personally at all, but that doesn't mean it's a bad language. It's actually, it seems like a really cool language, but it's really, I'm not enjoying the learning process. Okay. Unable to resolve. Consider using const. This one? Is that the one you mean? Am I reading multiple errors at once and they're all blurring together? Probably. Types must be comp time known. See, okay, I'm going to zoom out for a second. Speaking as somebody who a lot of my work involves helping people who are relatively new to programming learn programming. Jargon like this does not do anybody any good. Okay, that's not true. It does some good for some people. But there's so much jargon in here that I've been programming for 10 years. Like I said, as far as programmers go, I'm not a super programmer, but I'm not bad at programming. And this makes almost no sense to me. And I feel like I would have had to read a book about this language before going into it to understand what they're talking about. I don't want to have to understand why they invented a new term that seems like a regular term that they've just smushed together. I don't really want to read about that. It was kind of like that with Rust, with owning and borrowing, except that is their way of taking an already existing concept and making it clearer. Essentially, there was a very obvious, with just a little bit of reading, reason why they do owning and borrowing. It's still very confusing to use. Don't get me wrong. At least I could glance over an example and be like, oh, okay, that's why you own versus borrow. I see why they made that distinction. Why is it saying comp time? I don't understand this. I'm going to find out, but it's not obvious. I hate reading instruction manuals, but I'm going to do it. This is for you guys. I also want to know in the comments, do any of you see this and get excited or happy? I see this and my brain turns off. I'm like, I don't want to read that. I see that it's memory leak detection, and this is just an example, but it's like their third sample. Number 1 is Hello World. Number 2 is how to import a library. Number 3 is this monster. I'm not going to think about generics right now. Actually, I do want to see what they look like though. At this. What? Comp time values. Okay. Please enlighten me. What is this comp time you keep speaking of? Overview. Comp time. Oh, there's a keyword for it too. Okay. Yeah, they really like their comp time. I don't know how it's different from compile time, and that's what's really confusing me right now. I'm actually curious about this. I had never heard of the D language until now. That is, I didn't even realize I was reading about a language for a second. Would not consider my experience with this language simple. Still don't know what comp time is. The use case for this language is very possibly just too big brain for me. That might be what's going on here. Is this language might just be big brain, and I am not a big brain programmer. I am a small brain programmer who just has been doing it a long time. Full overview. Can you explain comp time, please? Why is there no detailed... Okay, this is driving me nuts. So comp time means during compilation? I don't quite understand why that's meaningfully different than a macro, except that I guess it's not in the compiler, but it runs during compiling? This is very confusing. Okay, so we're gonna try this, and we're gonna see if this is true. And if so, I have words. Wait, is it not mutable? That'll be hilarious if that's all it was. It's not, I figured. Variable of type must be constant comp time. When did I make a variable of type that's called struct? I thought struct was the type. Okay, I'm gonna take a break for a few minutes and see if I can get some sanity back. What have I done to myself? Okay, I'm back from a break, a little bit refreshed. Still almost out of tea because I forgot to refill it, but that's okay. I will power through. Okay, this is far more complicated than I would have guessed. I don't feel stupid anymore. I'm going to look this up and see if this is a standard thing you have to do a lot in Zig, just to make sure this isn't some weird rabbit trail that the AI is leading me on. Okay, I just had not realized how hardcore they go in Zig on memory stuff. Zig is really starting to feel like Rust's mad scientist cousin. This notation. Really derpy looking notation. I have to do it like, oh, that's disgusting. I get it though. This is like if you wanted to, you thought, okay, so if we're talking about cars, Rust and C, I feel like, are like driving a stick shift. Well, I'll say Rust is like driving a stick shift. It's manual, but if you've got a good one, you can learn to drive it pretty well and it's nice. Zig feels like driving a car by hot wiring the steering wheel. There is no steering wheel. There's a drive shaft and you have to like hot wire it to get it to turn in a certain direction. And so your hands underneath the dashboard pushing wires together to get the car to turn. That's what this feels like to me. They got a little happy with power with this notation, I think, with the absolute value notation. This irritates me. Error union is ignored. People who love this language and use it all the time are going to know exactly what that means. For someone learning the language, why doesn't it just say use try or you forgot try? If it was a warning, it would be one thing. But like, oh, it does. I just need to learn to read. I take it back. I take it back. They did. I just am illiterate. It's okay. Consider using try catcher if. Okay, I'm gonna majorly tone it down. I still think this could be a little bit more explanatory because new people might not understand what the try is for. But I'm getting the impression this language is very much not designed for new programmers. In fact, I don't think the designers of the language had any thoughts about people who are new to programming at all, which is fine. Like, if you don't want to have that as your target audience, then don't. Look at that. And it works. Okay. That's a lot. So I want to make it so that the add node function works and then display will display the whole thing and then I'm done. I'm not making anything else, but we're gonna see if we can at least do that. It's been a couple hours or so. I need to start wrapping this up. So it was 0 and then it was 0 1, so it worked, but I forgot a new line. Oh, I forgot the dot. I forgot that stupid little dot. Just a random pointless dot. It's not actually pointless, I know. Oh, that's so irritating. Oh, you know what? I need to have a get function. Okay, I'm gonna suck it up. I'm gonna write one more function in this language. It is kind of funny to me that you kind of end up with a similar error throwing problem in this language as you do with Java. I just realized I'm wearing headphones. How long have I been wearing headphones? I don't need headphones. That's actually really funny. I don't even remember putting them on. Oh, that's weird. While loops basically like are for loops. For loops are for each loops. I can see why they did that, but it's so different from other things. I don't know how I feel about it. It's not what I'm used to, you know what I mean? Doesn't make it bad. Why do you still have to initialize the variable out here? You've already made the while loop a for loop. Go ahead and just make it a for loop. Hold up. I need this too because I need to get the node. Probably have to store it on the heap because big non-primitive. So I'll need to store it on the heap. I'm just going to try something, probably get it very wrong. Also, if you're sitting here thinking, why am I using I32s when I don't need to? It's probably too big. I know. It's just because I picked I32 arbitrarily. I saw an I size somewhere that maybe it would be better to use, but I'm just using I32 for now. Okay, time to see if anything, it compiled. Am I learning? Does this mean I'm learning? Oh, I don't actually use it. Whoops. A dot before that this time. Okay, now I did something that doesn't work. Oh, I forgot an exclamation point somewhere. Wait, does that mean I compiled it earlier and because I wasn't using this code, it didn't compile it? That seems weird to me. Oh, wait, hold on. I need a pointer to self, not self itself. That's going in a short. Okay, now I just cannot format error union without specifier. This doesn't tell me where the error is though, unless I'm totally missing something. Yeah, this doesn't even tell me what error is happening. That's very irritating. I could care less about leaking memory right now. You know what? I was thinking of 2 different ways to do it. I don't think I even need to do this. Assuming I don't need to try all of these, but why not? We'll just try everything. Try -1. Restricted error union type found I32. See, that makes sense. Okay, good. And I know it'll be the same thing there. So now we are back to where we were. Oh, so that's from trying to print an error union. Oh, see, that would have been nice to know. Okay, yeah, it didn't even tell me that it was in the format that the issue is. It's just like, hey, random compiler issue. Okay, well that worked at least. There's I++, right? No, there's not. It's plus 1. I don't know why people are allergic to plus plus. So like, okay, so you're telling me, so the default is const, and you're telling me that if I want to make a variable not a constant, I use var, and then I also have to add an explicit type, but var by itself isn't enough. Why not have const be the default? I don't know. I'm not gonna try to fix the language. I'm not gonna try to fix it. There's no fixing this. No one cares what I think. This just is what it is. So I just have to accept it. What there's like, the Navy SEAL term is like embrace the suck, I think. One more thing and then I think I got it. Except I didn't. I see an error, but let's at least make the error easy to see. 2 is 2, 3 is 2, and 4 is 2. So it only ever finds 2. What? Oh, the desired index. Okay, I just need it. That's why. I just didn't finish. If you don't tell it to do something, it's not gonna do it. Rule number 1 of programming. There we go. 0, 1, 2, 3, 128,512. Okay, now I have to see what happens if I get one that's out of bounds. And if that works, I'm calling it. Look at that. It just didn't do it. Oh, I'm just silly. You guys, I need to, I'm so used to it. Okay, let's go. It works. I'm done. And I'm probably not gonna touch this language again. Holy cow. Okay, I'll be back in a second for the outro. I need a break. I need some tea. I need some caffeine in my body. Oh man. I'm wearing headphones again. You can tell I'm losing it right now. So takeaways that I got from learning Zig. First of all, there are definitely areas in which I could improve as a programmer. If your desire is to be the best programmer, the very best, like no one ever was, and if you love memory allocation and manual memory allocation, I should say, and understanding in depth the differences in implication between storing on the stack versus storing on the heap for any given variable, and if you think Rust is too easy, I would give Zig a go. As far as learnability score rating, I forget what I call it, there is pretty much no scenario in which I would recommend Zig as a first language. The only time I would recommend that is if it excites you and you find it really cool, in which case, obviously, like, go for it. Or if you just want to play on hard mode, if you want to go straight to nightmare difficulty, then you could start with Zig. I think almost any language that is a regular, fairly mainstream language would be a better choice than Zig as a first language. If you are a very experienced developer and you really want to be able to manually manage memory, and for whatever reason you don't just want to use C and you don't want to use Rust, then I guess you could use Zig. I don't know why, in my brief experience with it, which is brief, and I know there's so much that I probably don't know about Zig, but I don't know personally why anybody would choose Zig over one of the other languages in that kind of category of manual memory management languages. For embedded systems, I feel like Rust would just be better. And I feel like Rust is easier to use in a lot of the right ways. And I'm only comparing Rust and Zig because I see them mentioned together a lot. I don't know if they're actually direct competitors. Well, no, they are actually, because Zig, I don't know if competitors is the right word, but they're in the same kind of area. Zig references Rust in its explanation of why it exists. Okay, so basically, if Rust, C is like a car, but like an old-fashioned car where you had to crank the radiator sometimes and be careful about overheating, like a Model T or whatever. Well, it's a stick shift, of course, and maybe it only has 2 or 3 gears, so if you have anything complex you want to do with it, you really have to learn the ins and outs of your car to be able to, go over the right hills and stuff. By contrast, Rust feels to me like a plane, where it's like, it's still, the fundamentals are still a car, it's just at scale. It's still got an engine and stuff. There are so many buttons and knobs that it's pretty overwhelming if you don't know what they all do already. And you can tell that if you knew what all the buttons and knobs did and levers and stuff, you would probably be able to get some awesome stuff out of it. But if you don't know what they are, it's kind of hard to figure out. And then there's Zig. And I felt like Zig was an engine on a chassis, and I have to manually connect all the wires and stuff. And if I want to turn the car, I have to take the 2 wires that correspond to me turning the wheel and hotwire them together while it's turning. I just did not enjoy it. Rust, I enjoyed. It was fun to write code in Rust, even though I had no clue what I was doing. This was just miserable. And if you like Zig, that's awesome. I'm not saying nobody should use Zig, and I'm not saying nobody should like Zig, but I don't get it. And it is definitely not for me. Using the car analogy, I like a vehicle that is reliable and relatively smooth to drive, and where I only have to worry about like the steering wheel and a blinker. And other than that, I'm good. Whoa, I'm pixelated all of a sudden. What's going on? I don't know why my phone has decided to pixelate me, but here we are. It's just one of those days. Oh no, is that better? Oh, it's better. Okay, I just need to refresh the page. I don't have a fancy scoring system yet. So I'll just give it a rating of probably don't try it unless it seems cool to you, out of 10. Yeah, I do not recommend this at all for new programmers. It's very confusing. That's my recommendation. Do with it what you will. This has been fun. Kind of. I've enjoyed recording the video and talking to you guys. I have not enjoyed the language so much. One of the least pleasant programming experiences I've had in a very long time. And not just because it was confusing, because I was confused in Rust too. Actually, I think I was more confused in Rust, but Rust was fun while I was confused. This language was just annoying. And I don't, it's a qualitative thing. I don't know exactly what it was, but I will probably not ever touch this language again unless the algorithm decides that it's what people want to see all the time. So I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've had more fun than I did. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff down below. It really helps out the channel. And let me know in the comments if I'm just way off and I'm crazy and Zig is the best language ever, or if it's actually this hard for everybody, or if I'm just doing it wrong and that's why it's hard. I know there were some things with Rust that were that way, where it's like, it would have been easier if you just fill in the blank. I love reading your guys' comments. Also, if you want to support the channel, I actually write books. I have a couple short stories and some Pathfinder 2nd edition and Dungeons & Dragons 5th Plus edition supplements that I write as well, because I'm also a GM in my free time. I'll have some links down below. They are affiliate links. I'm not very good at the whole sales thing, so yeah. Also, let me know if there's anything specific that you guys want to see. If you want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know. I read as many of the comments as I can get to. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and until next time, I'll see you later. Do I fit this time?